Isn't it great that the NHL is back? I'm having a great time keeping up with the league, seeing all the teams and seeing all the games, but I'd be lying if I said I expected this season to go the way it has. If we go over to the NHL standings and we see who is undefeated in this league so far, hey, Edmonton leads the league with 5 games played and 5 wins. San Jose, 4 games, 4 wins. I'm surprised to see them up there. Florida Panthers are up there as well with the same stat line. Good for them. And then you have the St. Louis Blues, Carolina Hurricanes, Minnesota Wild, and then the Buffalo Sabres, who lost their very first game yesterday, losing their undefeated streak, but still, as one of the top teams in the league, I don't think they're all too upset. But when it comes to the teams that are not doing all too hot, it's kind of strange to me seeing how some of these teams that are near the bottom are actually teams that you would have expected a lot more out of. I think the biggest one to talk about is the Montreal Canadiens. They're 0-5-0, so they are literally at 0 points in 5 games played. They've got 4 goals for and 19 goals against. They are de facto the worst team in the NHL right now, especially coming off a Stanley Cup final run that is very, very weird. But as you go through the list of taking a look at where the good teams last year ended up, it is kind of funny to see how all these teams are doing. So what I thought I'd do is just go over some of the teams that I kind of expected a little bit more out of when it comes to point production, and just take a look at where they are, who their top scorers are, and where they are in the standings. Before we get underway with that, I wanted to take a look at this JFresh tweet. Now, I know advanced analytics, some people love them, some people hate them, some people get all pissy about the people who love advanced analytics, but they are still stats that I do feel have a place in this game. This is a chart of team goals scored above expected. What this means is that this is a list of all the NHL teams and how many goals that they have scored compared to how many goals they probably should have scored. If you have blue on your team, it means that you're actually getting kind of lucky with your goals, as you have more goals that have gone in compared to how many goals that the advanced analytics say that you should have had gone in based off of the shot quality of your chances and all that stuff. And if you have a red number beside your name, it means you're getting robbed by fate. The Toronto Maple Leafs are the worst in goals scored above expected, as they have had about 9.9 goals taken away from them based off of the quality of their chances. The Maple Leafs, if you take a look at where they are in the standings right now, they are currently 15th. 5 games played, 5 total points. They are 500 at the moment, but it is kind of strange when you take a look at who is driving the bus for this hockey club. It's not the guys you would have expected. Austin Matthews, guess what? He's played 2 games played, he's got 0 points. Mitch Marner, 5 games played, he's got 1 point. Everybody loves piling and piling and piling on Mitch Marner, and over the past few games, it really has shown itself off that way. You take a look at the top guys for this team, though. Hey, guess what? John Tavares is out here with 3 points in 5 games played. He's been an absolute leader. You still know everything that Tavares has gone through. Jason Spezza stepped up in a big way yesterday, too. It's almost like whenever the Maple Leafs are like, okay, our top guys are not scoring. Matthews and Marner are not getting on the board. Guess what? It's time for Jason Spezza to step in instead. He always shows up when the top guys are not getting it done. Speaking about top guys, though, the top guy in the Maple Leafs is William Neelander. 5 points, 5 games played. Good to see him going out there and being as consistent as he was in the playoffs last year. William Neelander is the most effective scorer on the Toronto Maple Leafs right now, and it's not even really all too close. But when it comes to the teams that are around this kind of range, let's take a look at the reigning Stanley Cup champions. The 2021 Tampa Bay Lightning are sitting at 20th overall with 4 points in 4 games played. They've got a -5 goal differential, and they are at 500. Now sure, goaltending has been a problem for the Tampa Bay Lightning so far, but it's not like they aren't getting any production either. Steven Stamkos leads the team with 7 points in 4 games played. Hedman is at 6 points in 4 games played. And then Nikita Kucherov has 4 points in 3 games played. He is on the IR. Braden Point is at half a point a game, 2 points, 4 games, and then everybody else kind of follows through. It's not that bad with Tampa. It's just mostly a reflection of how the games have gone for them, and if you take a look at the goals scored above expected, I mean, they're getting kind of robbed as well. They have a minus 3.5 goals scored above expected here. So for the Lightning, it feels like it would stabilize as the year goes on, but of course, we just have to kind of pay attention to them as games get played and as they score more goals. They're tied with Ottawa, Anaheim, and New Jersey so far in the standings, and they have the same point percentage as some of these teams like Ottawa and like Calgary and whatnot, like Vancouver too. So it hasn't been the best start, but again, only 4 games played. We'll see how the things go as they play out. Another team that was also one of the better teams last season was the Vegas Golden Knights. You talk about the Canadiens and how they've been doing poorly in the standings. Guess what? Vegas has 2 points in 4 games played. They've scored 10. They've let in 17. They're 1-3-0. And this team just has not been getting off to a hot start. Now, if you take a look at who's leading the Vegas Golden Knights in points right now, they have a few point-per-game players. You have Chandler Stevenson, 4 points, 4 games played. Pacioretty, 3 points, 2 games. Mark Stone, 3 points, 2 games. But, of course, those 2 guys are now out. The rest of the lineup follows through. You have a whole bunch of guys with 2 points on the year. This is a very deep team when it comes to their depth. It's just the results have not been there thus far. We'll see how Pacioretty and Stone and their absences affect the team as they go forward with their hockey games, but the Vegas Golden Knights have not gotten off to a start that they're probably happy with, as they are 29th in the NHL in terms of overall points. You want to take a look at who is just above them, though? Guess what? That Colorado Avalanche team is 1-3-0. 2 points, 4 games played. They're 28th in the league. If I would have told you that the Vegas Golden Knights and the Colorado Avalanche to kick off the year would have been 2 of the 4 worst teams in the league, and I guess you could have said the Canadiens as well because they made the gosh darn finals, it's the hockey gods going out here again and making things weird. Nathan MacKinnon has 2 points in 2 games played, but of course he stepped out due to protocols. You have Mikko Rantanen and JT Compher, Nazem Kadri leading the team with 4 points in 4 games. And, I mean, this team just has not been up to snuff. You have the goaltending, which hasn't been as good statistically as you would have wanted it to be. Everybody was raving about how good Darcy Kemper was, and how after losing Philip Grubauer, Joe Sakic overpaid for Kemper. Well, guess what? He's got an 8.9 save percentage and a 3.79 goals against average in 3 games. Not good so far. Now, to be fair, I haven't watched any Colorado games this season yet, so maybe Darcy Kemper has not been treated well by his team, maybe they're not giving him any opportunities to make saves, maybe it's just that. But, statistically, this hasn't been a good start for the Colorado Avalanche either, and the standings reflect that they're 28th in the NHL. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about here, just taking a look at some of the bad teams in the league and how we thought they were supposed to be a lot better. We haven't even discussed Chicago, Arizona, Nashville, some of these teams that are doing a lot worse than you would have thought, but teams that you didn't really expect all too much out of anyway. The Seattle Kraken are out here as well. They're playing the Vancouver Canucks later today, so we'll see how their point production improves. But the NHL standings are very, very weird this year. All the players that are going out there doing their thing, it's tough to see just the projections, because Buffalo is one of the best teams in the league, and Montreal is dead last with 5 games played and 0 points. The production out of all these teams is strange as well, but that's just kind of how hockey goes, baby. It's a weird sport, you can hardly predict these things, and if you told me at the start of the NHL year that Tampa Bay, like a week and a half in, would just barely be at the halfway mark of the league, I would have called you crazy. It's Tampa Bay. Now, of course, Kucherov, etc., you can't predict these things, but either way, talk to me in the comments, what do you think? Who has been the weirdest team so far to kick off the year? Is it Toronto? Is it Tampa Bay? Is it Montreal? I know, Montreal, it's not really all too weird, it's just a lot more unfortunate, and Canadiens fans are very upset at how the team is performing. Is it Vegas? Is it Colorado? Is it the newest team in the Kraken? Let me know in the comments which supposed-to-be good team has surprised you the most in the most negative way. Buffalo does not count. They were a bad team that's playing a lot better than we thought they would, so yeah, not included in this conversation. Same with the Red Wings, I guess you could say. But either way, talk to me in the comments. What do you think? I hope you enjoyed this video. Rosén 99, and bye.